Our dear candidates, it's good to have you back once again. The moment of learning as usual. You did the work. That was activity 15. And so it's time to have the correction upon it. You're most welcome. Simple instruction was given to each one of you to write the given sentences and joining with the structure as well as. Number one has it that way as Kato is very sick. Kavuma is very sick. And the answer is Kato as well as Kavuma is very sick. Simple case to take upon. Mark the word Kato being talked about and is the one we basically apply the helping verb upon. Kato is very sick. That is the answer. Kato as well as Kavuma is very sick. When the subject of concern is singular, the plural, the helping verb also appear to be singular. Take a case study on number 2. I believe you did it well. Our parents are very generous. My uncle is very generous. We have our parents. And so our answer is our parents as well as my uncle are very generous. Like I explained, we have the subject of concern appearing in plural, our parents. And so our parents will take the plural helping verb are. We shall therefore say our parents as well as my uncle are very generous. That has been that. Next number reads as the matron was to blame. The pupils were to blame. In this case, we have the subject of concern in singular form, the matron. And so our answer will be as the matron as well as the pupils was to blame. The matron as well as the pupils was to blame. Just like explained, the matron is a singular subject and so it must agree with a singular helping verb. Our answer reads as the matron as well as the pupils was to blame. Take a look at the next number. Judith will write a letter to her father. She will write a letter to her mother. This time round we have only one subject, Judith, doing an action of writing a letter, but to different people. We have to her father and to her mother. So in this way, we shall have the answer appear as Judith will write a letter to her father as well as to her mother. When we have one subject, like for this case, we don't apply a punctuation mark comma in that sentence. We only use it when we have different subjects, like seen in the previous numbers. Yes, for this case, the answer will be as Judith will write a letter to her father as well as to her mother. Here we don't repeat the letter in the sentence. The next number reads, mastitis is a dangerous disease. Corona is a dangerous disease. Remember, the first sentence is the one that we pay much attention to, is the point of concern. And so we basically deal with the first subject in the first sentence. So the answer will be mastitis as well as corona is a dangerous disease. And take concern on the punctuation marks because we have different subjects, mastitis and corona. Unlike the previous number where we have only Judith acting on writing a letter to different people. But this time we have mastitis as a subject, then corona as a subject. That's when we use the given punctuation as well as, in as well as. So the answer is mastitis as well as corona is a dangerous disease. You had the next number. We can compete with children of Namilyango Junior School. We can compete with children of Kampala Parents School. We have ourselves as the subject. Remember, the subject is only one in that pronoun form, we. Competing with two different schools So here our answer will be as we can compete with children of Namilyango Junior School as well as those of Kampala Parents School. That is the answer to that number. I believe you got it right, and I know you will enjoy the rest of the work. Also failed it, please make necessary corrections and learn from it. Then those who got all correct, I'm very happy for what you have done, meaning you had a wonderful moment last time. For this case, let me take this time and take you through the next lesson, and that is another bit of use of far and long. We're using far and long in a sentence. We've used these words in most cases, at times without taking keen concern upon them. But I want to really sit in class and get to know the principles, the rules of using these two words. And at the end of it all, we shall find that it's worth learning. To start with, we have far used in a negative sentence. We must get to know this. Far is used in negative sentences only. If you want to use the word far in your sentence, that sentence must be negative. And we all know what makes a sentence negative. Of course, the word not. Yes. And some other words that have got opposites, which are not good. Yeah. So let's take the first keen example. We want to see sentences in negative forms because we're going to use far. Then later on, we shall have these very sentences as we use the word long. Like I've said, far is used in negative sentences only. So we have the first example. Yes, it is not far from Mukono to Masaka. Yeah, that's what someone has said. It is not far from Mukono to Masaka. I'll ask you to close your attention on the right distance from school, Mukono, to Masaka. To you, you may see it very far, yes, but maybe someone compared Mukono to Masaka, then Mukono to Dar es Salaam. Then, of course, it is not far from Mukono to Masaka. But the concern is, we are having it negative because we're using far. It is not far from Mukono to Masaka. Mark the word not far. In fact, mark the word not. That qualifies the usage of far. We've always heard people saying, it's far from Mukono to Kampala. That grammatical sentence is not correct, because the principle has it that far must be used in a negative sentence. Take a look at the exact meaning. When you say it's not far from Mukono to Masaka, then we're saying it is a short distance from Mukono to Masaka. That's the message you're passing out to the consumers of your speech. That is it. Look at the next example. It isn't far from Woblenzi to Kasana. Yeah. Here we have used the contraction. It isn't. We can even use it in the other way. It isn't far from Woblenzi to Kasana. What does this mean? What are we saying? We're saying it is a short distance from Woblenzi to Kasana. In a simple few numbers we've done, we realize that far is a word used to talk about distance. Yeah. Far is used to talk about distance. Look at the number 1. It is not far from Mukono to Masaka. It means it is a short distance. So far is used when we're talking about distances. Take that as a key thing. Look at the next example. We want to learn properly. It is not far from Global Junior School to Mukono Town. Yes, it is not far from Global Junior School to Mukono Town. I know most of you are nodding, saying this one is true, but the first number is not true. Number 1 is also true compared to other distant places. And this one is also true compared to nearby places which seem to be farther. Yeah. So let's look at the meaning. What do you think is the message in this? Like I've explained number 1 and number 2. When you say it's not far from Global Junior School to Mukono Town, means it's a short distance from Global Junior School to Mukono Town. That is the message we pass out as we speak. Remember, it's wrong to say it is far from Global Junior School to Mukono Town. Grammatically, it's not allowed. It's not correct. So let's have a look at the next part. We want to see the usage of long. Yes. How do we therefore deal with the sentences having long? We've said long is also used in negative sentences talking about time. Yes. Far is used to talk about distance. Don't forget that. We talk about time with the help of long. Yeah. For example, most of you take long in some places doing something. Yes, that's what we always say. But let's have a moment to realize the mistakes in such kind of constructions. I'm very happy that you get the example at this time because you're good enough for it. We've realized long is used in negative sentences. Far is also used in negative sentences. Don't ask many questions. When do we use it in positive sentences? We shall soon reach there. Here is number one given. The teacher will not take long at the party. Yes, the teacher will not take long at the party. Mark the word not. The teacher will not take long at the party. Remember, we are using the word long the way it has appeared in a sentence. So it must be used, we must make that sentence negative. Yes, you will always get instructions. Rewrite the sentence using long. If that sentence has been in positive, you must tune it back to negative. We shall reach there, don't hurry. So our answer, the number says, the teacher will not take long at the party. What does this mean? We mean he will take a short time. Yes, he will take a short time. That's a message we're passing out. Remember, it must agree with the principle. The principle says long is also used in negative sentences. Why are we using also? Because we had just seen far. And in addition to that, we have long as well. So remember to use long in negative sentences only. Don't say the teacher will take long at the party. Though it sounds sweet in someone's ears, it's not correct grammatically. That is that. Let's have the next number. The patient will not take long to recover. Yes, the patient will not take long to recover. I picked this example from one of the statements that one of our teachers visited the nearby sick places, sick people. And that was a message he left there at the gate. The patient will not take long to recover. And trust me, today we have the patient recovered. But that's not the point. The point is on the usage of long. The case in point is long is used in negative sentences only. So we have it here. The patient will not take long to recover. What message are we passing out? We are saying the patient will recover very soon. That's the message we are passing out. But what qualifies our answer to be correct, our sentence to be correct, is long being used in a negative sentence. Long being used in a negative sentence. And for this case, what makes that sentence negative is the word not. The patient will not take long to recover. I hope you are enjoying the lesson. I hope you're realizing the mistakes and be able to defend the next speaker in case you get a moment to teach a friend. We have the next number, our dear friends. Moses will not take long in town. Moses will not take long in town. What does it mean? This means that Moses will take a short time in town. To crown it up, we realize that the word long is used when we're talking about time. Yes, when we're using far, we must refer to distance. Very simple to learn. Very simple to learn. Now, we want to take a look at the mixture of the two. Yes, we want to change these sentences from one usage to the next. Remember we said far and long is used in negative sentences. How best can we use these two in a positive sentence or positive sentences? Yes, how best? Let's take the first point. We are using long and far in a positive form or in a positive sentence. What are the issues to consider? Hey, very simple. In a positive form, far must change to a long way. When you meet a sentence having far, for example, we had it, the distance from Mukono to Masaka. It was negative. Should you be asked to use that word in a positive sentence, it must change to a long way. And far, long will change to a long time. Remember, far is used to talk about distance. That's why I'm saying a long way. Then long in terms of time, we shall say long will change to a long time. Very simple. In math, you did substitution method. You have substitution method where you just follow something and substitute. It's the same thing I'm going to apply here. I know you're good at that. And therefore, let's take the very first example. Remember we had said, it is a long way from Mukono to Masaka. Confirmed. A long way from Mukono to Masaka. But the other side we had said, it's not far from Mukono to Masaka. That was the given number. It's not far from Mukono to Masaka. Just the word far has been ignored and replaced with a long way. Why? We've said in the principle that in a positive form, the word far, yes, the word far changes to a long way. That's why we're having it as it is a long way from Mukono to Masaka. You may meet this very sentence somewhere in any paper and they ask you, for example, number 31 says, it is a long way from Mukono to Masaka. Rewrite using far. Don't forget the principle of far. Far is used in a negative sentence, so we shall say, it is not far from Mukono to Masaka. That will be your answer. But if they tell you to use the word a long way, then the answer will appear like this. A point to take seriously. When you meet the word, this instruction saying, write using far. Don't bring this other one a long way. Don't say, Mr. Quill told us that the word a long way, far, changes to a long way. You must wait for these very instructions. When they say write using far, recall the negative order. When they say write using a long way, recall the positive order. That is how we take the number in terms of sentences, in terms of constructions, in terms of grammar. That has been that. Remember the first question, the second question which was given to you. Far in negative. Yes? And if they're asked to change that sentence to this, to using a long way, the answer will appear as, it is a long way from Woblenzi to Kasana. Remember it was as, it is not far from Woblenzi to Kasana. Change that sentence using a long way. And so we shall say as, it is a long way from Woblenzi to Kasana. What does this mean? We are asked to use a long way. And a long way calls for a positive sentence. Don't look at the exact meaning of the first number. Remember I said, it is not far from Woblenzi to Kasana. Now one may ask a question, why are we saying it is a long way? And yet we were saying it is not far. Just based on the principle given. Far must be used only in negative sentences. Long must be used only in negative sentences. Attached to time, far is attached to distance. So when you're asked to use a long way, you must also base on the principle saying a long way is used only in a positive sentence. So if you're given a sentence in negative and you're asked to write using a long way, you just change the meaning from negative to positive. That's why for this case, our answer stands as, it is a long way from Wobulenzi to Kasana. Yeah, I hope you've got that. And that's what you're good at always. Have a next number about Global Junior School to Mukono. Remember, it was saying it is not far from Global Junior School to Mukono town. So for this case, we are asked to use a long time. So the answer will be, it is a long, using a long way. We shall say it's a long way from Global Junior School to Mukono town. I hope you got that. Something to be talked about is this. I can't just let it flow. Pay attention to it. You may find a sentence already given in a negative form. It is not far from our home to the market. It is not far from our home to the market. And someone may ask you, write using long, just like that. Yes. Remember, the question says, it is not far from our home to school. Yes, let's take it that way. It is not far from our home to school. Write using long, just like that. You must be able to recall that you are changing the structure from far to long in terms of changing from negative to positive. Therefore, remember, long must change to a long way. Yes. Then far, long must change to a long time. Then far must change to a long way. Remember, it is not far from our home to school. So the answer will be, it is a long way from home to school. That is that. Just like we had it, it is not far from Mukono to Masaka. The instruction may be as, rewrite using long. Like that only. So you should be able to recall that far must change to a long way. They have only picked the word long. Write the sentence given using long. That will be the answer. It is a long way from Mukono to Masaka. Question 2 says, it is not far from Wobulenzi to Kasana. An instructor says, rewrite using long. So it is upon you to recall this principle saying, not far must change to a long way. So they have only picked the word long to guide you. The rest is it is upon you to bring back. So we shall say, it is a long way from Wobulenzi to Kasana. I'm believing that you have learned that part very well. Let's take the next number as our concern. The teacher will take a long time at the party. What was it previously? Using long in a negative form, it was as the teacher will not take long at the party. Instruction is simple. Rewrite using long. And so our answer will be as the teacher will take a long time at the party. A long time calls for positive sentence. That's why we change the meaning from negative to positive. I'm optimistic that you've learned very well. Next number says, a patient will take long. The patient will take a long time to recover. Don't get annoyed. That is our wish. We are responding to the previous number which was given. The patient will not take long to recover. That very sentence, if you are asked to write using long, you say, the patient will take a long time to recover. That has been that. Dear friends, the very last number says, Moses will take a long time in town. That is when we're asked to change from long to a long time, far to a long way. I hope you've learned a lot. Can't wait to share with you the exercise which is yet to come, and in that order, I'll ask you to take this simple table to understand very well that Jane is not far from home. Her home is negative. Jane is a long way from her home. It's positive. Yes, not far is changing to a long way. Then Susan was not far from town. Susan was not far from town. This is a negative sentence. And that very sentence can be changed to its positive form by saying Susan was a long way from town. What makes it positive? The idea of not has been taken away, and it is only simple, that's far changed to a long way. Simple as that. Friends, there is a wonderful thing to talk about here. The above 4 sentences are in respect to distance, what we've just seen. Yeah, take in terms of time. We're saying the matron did not take long at school, meaning the matron took a short time at school. Friends, we have it that way. Then I have to take you through the table of summary. The table is telling us how those things change. Positive sentence, a long way, which is in respect to distance, changes to far. And if you're given a sentence in negative, just change it to positive. What is far? Change it to a long way. Remove the idea of negative. And we're saying a long time, in respect to time, changes to long. But it should be negative. So when you say, she has taken a long time in town, the other side will say, she has not taken long in town. As simple as that. I'm happy that you have learned, and therefore you are good enough to tune to the next exercise. The rest will be talked about when we meet again. I wish you the very best. Thank you for learning. Bye.